With little money, lots of support, Kiwi ingenuity and good old blood, sweat and tears, we're creating a community expedition and research boat built and run by volunteers from around the world, because life is too short not to fight for your dream.
I took a stroll downtown this evening when I heard music echo through the night. The same old songs that I heard the night before. So I started running so I wouldn't be too late. I didn't think that I would ever see your face again, but I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong.
Once Dame tested the compression tanks, we painted them in suitable attire, the guys got them down into the engine bay. Next, it's putting it all together and testing everything works, checking for any leak, then cutting the engine bed for the new Cummings to come in.
So these threads have all been cleaned up and we've marked each joint so we know how it goes back together. Just need to go through now, put some Loctite on them, let them sit, and then a couple of hours later we can start this thing up.
When we put thread sealant on, we always put it on the inside thread and the outside thread. If you only put it on the outside thread and then wind it in, it essentially wipes the thread clean of thread sealant. You don't get a very good joint. So put it on both sides and you'll get a nice joint.
Getting them tight or
Getting there, top manifold hooked together. Got the regulator in, still need to do the wiring once we get the motor in, and then the lower manifold is in. Just Birk's just working on the gauge for the second tank, and then we can start working on the actual compressor itself. Gauge is in, time to start getting this base fitted up to the floor so we can start mounting the compressor head. I'll pass you this in, line the back ones up.
that looked pretty good.
Okay, give it a sand and a file up.
put it on the inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll rivet it.
We're in the wheelhouse at the back wall, and the air conditioner unit is on the outside of that, and we need to finish the installation that we started a while ago.
Back of this wall is the outside unit of the air conditioner. They come through the wall to these two copper pipes, and then they head down to the floor down there, and then they go through a stainless pipe along the floor, which is this pipe here, and you can see the foam going in it, and then it goes up the wall and to the inside unit, which is located about here somewhere on the inside of the boat, so in the galley. So what we need to do is make sure that none of those pipes are left exposed like this, because they'll condensate up. Not only is it really inefficient for the air conditioner, but the atmosphere will touch the pipe. The pipe's really cold, it'll get condensation and drop water everywhere. So we need to insulate every part of the pipework. What I'm going to do is put some polystyrene up to the side here, and then I'll do a strip down this side here as well, so that there's like a gap, but like between two layers of polystyrene, and then I'll foam down where those pipes are, and I'll put little blocks in to hold these pipes exactly where I want them, but I'll foam basically the pipes in place, and then it will extend out, I'm hoping not too far, and then I'll just cut the outer surface off flush with the polystyrene. So I'm going to glue the polystyrene in and hold it in tight with some boards and things. But yeah, then the outer surface of the foam will have to probably be cut.
And this here is double insulated, because this is an outside bulkhead, and this is single?
Yeah, this is inside and that's outside. The roof is about there somewhere. 310. 310. Will this even fit? I think they'll just fit. So 400 and it goes to 620.
Goes to, yeah.
So it's 220 wide. And then from the far corner, I've got one that is 120 by 120 out from the side and 200 up from the side.
Yeah.
So we'll just do a curve. All right, I think that's everything. And
Just want to check it, or?
Yeah, we'll shave these up here probably. Okay.
It looks a bit messy, but
if you can read it, then it's fine.
yeah.
This is the writing of a doctor's son. It's genetic.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think we've got everything, eh? Sweet. We need to build this shape so that we can do one sheet that does that whole wall. So there's quite a few weird bits and pieces on each of the corners, and it's not square because the roof has a curve going off to one side. So yeah, take a bit of time and we'll get the measurements on this right. Yep. Okay, so okay, 400. So mark that 400 there. That's the first, and then we're going to go 220.
Maybe just grab that red, the orange saber saw that I had. That one that I was using.
That's
or
too...
that. Use the manual saber saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do a radius or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Come down maybe. Do like 150 by 100 and 150 would be good. Okay, right. There's the plugs.
Yeah.
What we need is a bit of timber and a hammer.
Yeah.
And you put the timber across and hammer it in.
Yeah.
So.
No photos, no toast of champagne. I spent my time feeling in that case, drinking that stinking, that both bloodshot haze. No, time has come. Now I see.
You might just get rid of a little bit of length. So that's our gluing rig, basically. PVA glue holds this stuff really beautifully. It's no good when it gets wet, so don't get the inside of your wheelhouse wet and you'll be fine. This is going to be our little dam, so this will get filled with foam, etc. all the way down. We need to make some little props to make them the right distance from the wall and so on. But yeah, that'll do for now. We'll let that sit, probably let that sit for a few hours to go nice and hard, and then we'll come back and we'll deal with this later. Sorry, what was that?
Did you have a look on the footage?
Yeah, I did. I think I'll do another one tonight, but I think I'll change it. I took a photo every 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and it was a 13-second long time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just too fast. The night's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
too
yeah.
quick. So I'm giving you a bit of a walkthrough. Our air conditioner has two pipes coming out of the air conditioner, and they come down this plastic pipe you can see here. They come down, they go up, and then through the wall. We've masked all of this off because this is going to get covered in foam soon. Those pipes, they go through the wall, and then in the battery bay, see that silver pipe running along the top there? That's stainless pipe that's been filled with foam, and you can see the foam sort of pouring out at that end there. And then the pipes make their way from the floor down here, up the wall, and then they go out the boat. Now we need to insulate that whole run. We can't have any condensation or any atmosphere touching those pipes. So we're using spray foam to basically fill that area up, and then once it leaves the boat over the back here, we're going to insulate it outside the boat. We'll deal with that a bit later. But for now, we've basically made dams and sort of taped everything up so that we can keep it as clean as we can while we foam, because this stuff is messy, it will go everywhere. Expander foam, can of that stuff, and then we have a really long tube, it's about roughly 1 metre long, that's attached to the expander foam, and the plan is to stuff it up this plastic pipe so that both of those two pipes get foamed like internally right next to it, so there's no air can get next to those pipes, and then we're going to foam all the way around it, so it's a bit of a two-part process. That's sounding positive. No, don't go back out.
guys have sprayed the grey wall with water. It helps the foam to stick.
So we have this guard finished, so just going to pop that on there. I've tightened the belt up and everything, I'm happy with that. Everything seems to be hooked up, so let's get this guard on, fire it up, see how much air pressure we can hold. Alright, time to do some final checks and then see if we can get some air pressure. Rightio, closed off, closed off, closed off, closed, closed. That was all secure, that's off, on, that's sealed, that's tight. Okay, that nut needs to be tightened up. Let's get that done. Okay. In case you're wondering why these two are looking at each other nervous, well, this one's nervous, this one isn't. It's because these are the ears, and obviously a stethoscope thing is connected, and they're both like listening, you know, to what's going on, because the chaos happens at this end, obviously. This guy's the primary tank, so he's the one that's most nervous, because everything happens to him all the time. And this guy here occasionally gets used, and that's why he's the one that's not really that concerned, because if something bad's going to happen, it'll happen to him first. Minions, and make the world go round. I think we're ready to go. Compressor's all bolted down, everything's tight and nice. Happy with the tanks, everything over there is all good, everything's bolted, everything's turned off. I'll turn it on and this tank here will pressurise. I think I'll bring it up to 20 psi, and then we'll open this valve here, let this tank come up to 20 psi, lock them off, and we'll see basically if they leak air and if they go down over time. So it does jiggle.
Plan is to let it pump up to 20 psi. I've got one tank open, and in a second I'll open this ball valve and allow it to flow through into this tank. But for now we're just getting that first tank up to 20 psi, and then we'll turn everything off so we can do a leak test.
And that's 20 psi right there. So let it sit there for a bit, see if it leaks down. So we're losing a little bit of pressure, and it's because I haven't done that up tight enough. Everything else seems to be holding up pretty well, and there is a tiny leak right over on the regulator. There you go, see that? Bubbling up. So I need to fix that. We know the tanks are good because they came up fine in the hydro test, but the pipe work and things that we've assembled, we just need to put a little bit more work into that to make sure it's bar tight. The cool thing is I know this compressor doesn't leak. So when this was assembled as a normal compressor, as it was when I bought it from the shop, attached to the tank, I could leave it for about 2 weeks and it would hold pressure like 100 and something psi for weeks and weeks. It did not leak. It was fantastic. It was one of the few compressors I've ever had that was that good. So I'm really happy with this as a base to run off this. And I know any leaks are something that I've done, whether it's pipe work or welds or whatever. So in this case, I know my welds and all that are good because we did a good hydro test on these things. But we do need to make sure that the manifolds and things don't leak any air, because any air that leaks is essentially like, these are our starting batteries. So if any air leaks out, essentially it's like our batteries going flat over time. So they need to be able to hold pressure for weeks indefinitely, basically, so that when we do need to kick it up, we've kicked the motor over, we've got air pressure there ready to go. It's not the end of the world if we have to start the compressor to top it up and everything like that, but you really don't want to be doing that. You want to be able to rely on those tanks to hold the pressure indefinitely. So I've done the easy job first, fix that leak. So no more bubbles. So that one there is solved. That tank's holding 20 psi, has been for a while now. This tank here used to be on 20 psi. You can see that gauge is ever so slightly below 20. Whatever that is, 15, something like that. But it's because of that leak in there. I'm not going to have time to fix that right away, so that'll be a job that we'll do over the next week or so, but I have to strip the whole regulator down to get it. I basically just need to spin this on slightly more into there, put some better sealant in it, and spin it on maybe one more turn into this fitting on that side, but I can't do that with it assembled because it's just too tight to the tank. So I have to pull the whole thing apart in order to be able to fix that and then put it back onto the tank. So that'll be a job that we'll tackle later. There we go. There's a sneak preview as to what I'm cutting. I'm basically chopping out plenty of room so that we can actually get our hands under the engine and give this a good clean whenever we need to. Previously, it was damn near impossible, so we're going to make it a million times easier to work on this engine underneath it. With the regulator back together, hopefully that leak won't show up again. And then finally, our shutdown pressure is about 120 psi, so pretty good. Happy with that, everything's working lovely. Ooh. Hey, okay, that's how you get it to work.
That made a difference.
Okay, I think I'm running out of juice in this one. It's not hard to manage like that. I've got 3/4 of a bottle left.
Yeah.
This is what it expands up like, so quite a voluminous amount. We need to basically start cutting this back, shape it all down, which is all good, easy enough. But I'm very pleased that we put paper everywhere, because this stuff goes everywhere. This is what up top looked like, so you can see it's expanded like a large amount. So to give you some context, there's a hand. So there we go, it's about 74 millimeters, I believe, possibly 103. We filled up a few other gaps that I found randomly because I had half a tube of stuff left. So yes, any little nooks and crannies that needed some more goop, they've been done too. Birk's scooping the mirror up. This is the back of the mirror that is getting stuck to this door here. The door's taped up, ready to go. So I'll glue that on in a sec. He's here. How you going?
Hey, brother.
Hey, good to see you.
Oh, mate.
We thought you might like to meet Jason. Jason's from Aotearoa, New Zealand, where we're from. We did a little interview and we thought you might like to get to know him a little bit. He's over for just under 3 weeks.
So my name's Jason, and I am from Ōtautahi, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Motherland. And what do you do for work?
So currently I'm a station officer for Blue Shift at Christchurch Airport. So basically a firefighter slash medic, and respond to any calls, aircraft related, medical, fire, anything a firefighter would do on the Christchurch Airport campus, and pretty much bordering all the roads bordering the airport.
And
Yeah.
you've been doing it for a while, eh?
Yeah, been firefighting in total for coming up 16 and a bit years. I do volunteer for St John Ambulance on my days off
Yeah, right.
as well.
So were you
yeah.
doing that when the earthquakes were happening in Christchurch?
The volunteering?
Yeah.
I was, but I was a firefighter then.
Yeah,
I
right.
was a volley firefighter. So, yeah, got to see my fair share of everything that was associated with that event.
Yeah.
The good and the bad and everything in between.
What year was that?
It's 2011. Pretty full on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing to be part of as both someone who lives there and as a first responder.
And if that's not enough, you also surf, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But I've been surfing for 26 years.
So where's the best place to surf for you?
Remember, the waves are pumping.
Yeah.
I've got some good friends that surf, and we'll go away for a weekend to Kaikoura or maybe the West Coast, and then I do a bit of downhill mountain biking. Which is fantastic. Funnily enough, one accident was how I found Brupeg.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
which led me to this. So kind of good in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
And what drew you to come over here to be with us?
I don't know. Because I stumbled across the videos. I was at home with a broken collarbone, separated shoulder and 8 broken ribs. So it was like, okay, what am I
8.
What am I going to do? So I can't take myself to the toilet. I'm going to watch YouTube. So I'm watching YouTube, and that's how I came across your channel. So I think I've always, I don't know, I'm kind of creative, but I really love helping out kind of where help's needed. So watching you guys do the build, and obviously you with your health side and Dame doing a lot of the heavy lifting. For a while there, you didn't get a picture of how many people were coming and helping out.
Yeah.
Not that it probably mattered, but I was kind of like, hey, I reckon I could go over and help. I don't know, and that's what I said to you when I sent the message. It was like my welding skills. You're not getting me for my welding skills, or my good looks, but I don't know what help looks like for you.
Yeah.
But I just want to do something, and I don't care if it's cooking or painting or whatever it might be. I'm just happy to help.
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of sent the message and went, hey, what do you reckon? And then surprisingly you came back and went, yeah. And I'm like, my God, they've actually gone, yeah.
Oh, for us it was hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, babe. So you're not going to believe this. I've actually gone, yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
Another quick tidy up, and we've got some space for the guys to start sanding the bilge. If you look at Dame's back, you can see just how hot it is in the engine room. So the plasma cutter's been running a bit dodgy for a while now. We tried to fix it, but it works, but only just. So the job that Dame's tackling now is he's been looking forward to for ages, and that's to cut the beds ready for the newcomings to come in. stand just because we can. Another look.
So we're trying to clean all the paint off, and we've sanded using 40 grit sandpaper, but we've got to try and get off all of the stuff that looks like it might flake off, and we've managed to chisel off quite a bit of it. And now we're going to get the nibble gun out and chisel off all the chunky stuff so that you don't have any issues with paint coming off it later. That's the plan. Yeah.
So after a clean, Jason takes to it with some acetone to tidy it up, ready for some painting.
A couple of rollers and a couple of brushes. I was thinking of one, maybe rolling too fast, so I was thinking of 2 years and 2 people have brushes and do all the striping out, and then one other person just sort of catch it up. Much of the change of colour, right?
We've used Jotun products here. The grey, 2 coats of grey, is etched Jotomastic 90. That's now dry, so the guys are putting the top coat. That's hard top ultra on. There'll be 3 coats of that. Thanks for all your help, Birk and Jason. It's been an awesome few days. We had a good fry up this morning because the rest of the day is getting the dinghy sorted out. See you next week.